best day to ride a bike, a soggy end to your Tuesday.
Pretty much the whole region was drenched by soaking rains. Let's take you live to Virginia Beach Town Center. You can barely see it there. But in the past few hours, the bulk of the rain moved on, but several stubborn showers are still sticking around. What you'll see this evening depends on where you live.
Let's check it now with Jeff.
Yeah, and this is going to tend to fill in. It's not going to be as heavy as what went through earlier, but we're still going to get a significant soaking, maybe up to an inch of rain still in a few spots. And that's today, the rest of tonight, tomorrow, and even into tomorrow evening. Sky view right now, a better view right there than the one we saw over Town Center, a little better visibility. Right now you can see there are obviously still pockets of wet weather around. Nothing terribly heavy, no yellows or anything like that. And there are also quite a few holes, meaning very, very light, if no precipitation even for that matter. Down to the south, things are starting to fill in a little bit as they move toward us. Right now, light to sort of moderate rain and a little bit of a stripe here right across areas just north of the state line, the border between North Carolina and Virginia. Then a little bit curls back up into western Suffolk, a few heavier patches in there as well. A little bit of light rain over parts of Norfolk, over toward western Virginia Beach, a little bit just grazing the peninsula. You get up the peninsula, though, a little bit closer here to Saluda, back towards Stevensville, sort of north of Gloucester. That's where we have some of the, again, more concentrated areas of rain, but it is starting to fill in down to the south, so that's another batch that'll hit us a little bit later. Right now, 59, winds out of the east-southeast at 15 miles per hour. The rest of the forecast then is going to look like this. Still wet tonight, but lighter amounts, and then wet at times again Wednesday. I'll be talking more about an extended dry spell. That's when I return.
Well, track the wet weather alongside Jeff with the 13 News Now app. Download it and take the power of Hampton Road's most accurate forecast with you. It's free for Apple and Android.
Chesapeake firefighters had to deal with the soaking rains today. Flames rekindled at the IHOP that burned down near Chesapeake Square Mall yesterday. When crews pulled up around 12:30, they found smoke and flames coming from the scorched building. It took them a few minutes to knock down that fire.
New video tonight from a Portsmouth police officer shooting an armed man in the back as he ran away.
He has a gun! He has a gun!
The Virginian pilot first obtained this body cam video showing the moment Officer Jeremy DeRocher shot DeAndres Ward as he ran from officers. Ward survived. The bullet is still in his body.
He says the video proves he wasn't a threat to officers or anyone else. Tonight, Ward is calling on the Portsmouth Commonwealth's attorney to prosecute the officer who shot him. 13 News Now reporter Megan Shin is following the story.
Well, we reached out to the attorney. They declined for an interview, but the video we're about to show you is slightly disturbing, but it shows how the series of events played out during this officer-involved shooting. In October, Portsmouth police received a call about a burglary on Tatum Avenue. Witnesses who didn't want to go on camera tell us two people were stealing from their neighbor's home. This body camera footage from Portsmouth police officer Jeremy DeRocher shows one of the accused burglars as DeRocher spotted him. Seconds later, that person, DeAndres Ward, takes off running. You can see and hear DeRocher fire two shots at 18-year-old Ward. Those shots missed him. DeRocher continues yelling. He shoots again, this time hitting Ward.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun!
Several officers run around the other side of the house, yelling the second suspect took off the other way.
On the other one! He went running that way!
Court documents say Ward stole jewelry from the home just before he was shot. Other paperwork says he admitted he had a gun on him. He didn't say he fired it.
Whether he was waving a gun, it's really impossible from the video to be able to determine that.
Kenneth Williams is a professor of law at South Texas College of Law, Houston. He watched the video multiple times.
Also, the state has the burden of proof in these cases, and that's very difficult to refute the officer's claims.
Virginia State Police is handling the investigation into the shooting. Ward does have injuries to his back and arm. He faces several felony charges and is due back in court on May 1st. Reporting in the studio, I'm Megan Shin, 13 News Now.
This comes as a former Portsmouth police officer loses his fight for a new trial. A court upheld Stephen Rankin's voluntary manslaughter conviction. He was convicted in the death of William Chapman. Rankin was trying to get a new trial, saying mistakes were made in the original trial. He is set to get out of prison in November.
Right now, doctors are working to save a man shot in Hampton. Police say the person who pulled the trigger is still out there. Investigators tell us it happened just before 3:30 this afternoon on Childs Avenue. We're told the man's injuries are life-threatening. If you have information that could help officers make an arrest, give the crime line a call. Now to Norfolk. Investigators are working to find out what killed a 2-year-old girl in Ocean View. Overnight, medics were called to a home on 20th Bay Street. They rushed the little girl to the hospital, but doctors were not able to save her. 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton talked to neighbors, including one who thought something was terribly wrong.
To completely honest, I felt like something was wrong, and I did nothing. And that's the trouble.
This mom feels guilt.
I didn't quite know what to do. And I think at hindsight, of course, thinking back, I should have done something.
Vanita Hurt lives in the same complex where emergency crews found the 2-year-old girl unresponsive early this morning. Hurt says last week, while sitting in her car, she believes she heard that same toddler screaming for several minutes.
I use the word distress as a mother, but maybe it was not. Someone else would have just interpreted it as, just crying.
Around 4:30 this morning, paramedics got a heartbreaking call.
Caller claims a 2-year-old was burned in the tub with hot scalding water.
The child was taken to CHKD, where she later died.
I don't even know the baby, and I just feel the pain.
Police are now calling this an undetermined death. This morning, they collected bags of evidence from the apartment. They also escorted a man downstairs and into a police car. He was not wearing handcuffs.
It's just sad to know that she don't have a chance now or anything.
The chief medical examiner's office will determine the exact cause of death for the little girl. Now, if you know anything about this incident, you are encouraged to contact police. In Norfolk, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.